The invitation glows under my kitchen lights, its gold embossing catching every ray like a small sun. My fingers trace the raised lettering, but stop cold at the words that slice through my heart. Adults only, 18 plus strictly enforced, no exceptions. I set down the heavy cardstock, careful not to crumple it the way I want to. Next to Camille's wedding invitation sits Jenna's handmade card, covered in silver glitter and teenage earnestness. My daughter spent 3 hours crafting it, each sequin placed with precision, every swooping letter of "Dear Aunt Camille" written in her best calligraphy. The kitchen clock ticks in the silence. 10 minutes until Jenna comes home from school. A car door slams outside. My heart jumps. Footsteps on our front walk, then our porch. The door opens with Jenna's characteristic bang against the wall. "Mom." Her voice carries that breathless excitement only 17 can produce. "Did it come? Aunt Camille's invitation?" I reach for the envelope, but she's already spotted it. Her fingers close around the thick paper before I can hide it away. "Let me see." She pulls out the invitation, eyes bright. I watch her face as she reads, marking the exact moment joy dims to confusion, then understanding. Her shoulders drop a fraction of an inch. She doesn't want me there, does she? The question hangs between us. I flash back 13 years ago to a courthouse where I signed adoption papers for a 4-year-old with wary eyes and a habit of hiding behind furniture. My parents stood against the back wall, their smiles strained. Camille called me in the bathroom afterward. "Are you sure about this?" she'd asked, fingers drumming against her designer purse. Single motherhood is hard enough without complications. I'd squared my shoulders, already protective of the little girl waiting outside. "She's not a complication, she's my daughter." The memory fades. I focus on Jenna now, nearly grown, trying so hard to look unbothered. But I see the slight tremor in her hand as she sets down the invitation. "It's probably easier this way," she says, voice carefully light. "More sophisticated. You know how Aunt Camille is about appearances." 3 years after the adoption, I met Marcus at a fundraiser. He'd walked straight to Jenna, crouched down, and asked about the book she was reading. No hesitation, no awkward glances at me to check if this was okay. Just pure interest in my daughter as a person. At our wedding, Jenna was our flower girl. The photos show her beaming in her mint green dress, and my family standing slightly apart, their smiles fixed. I'd told myself they needed time to adjust. I pick up a pen from the counter. The RSVP card waits, pristine and expecting. My hand doesn't shake as I check, not attending. The scratch of pen on paper sounds loud in our quiet kitchen. Warm pressure on my shoulder. Marcus. I didn't hear him come in. His hand squeezes gently as he reads over my shoulder. My phone buzzes. Mom's name lights up the screen. I silence it without looking. Another buzz. Camille this time, then Brianna. Jenna watches from the doorway, her expression a mix of worry and something else, relief. I open the bottom drawer of our china cabinet, pull out our family photo album. The evidence is there, documented in years of snapshots. Christmas gifts addressed only to Laura and Marcus. Family photos where Jenna stands at the edge, slightly out of frame. Birthday cards that arrived a week late, if at all. Page after page of a pattern I've refused to see. Jenna steps closer, peering at a photo from last Easter. "I remember that day," she says softly. "Grandma kept calling me the girl when she thought I couldn't hear." The RSVP card sits finished on my counter. Such a small thing to carry so much weight. But as I look at my daughter, brilliant, kind, creative Jenna, who deserves so much more than subtle exclusion wrapped in polite excuses, I know this time will be different. My phone buzzes again. The whole family must be burning up the group chat by now. I leave it unanswered. "Want to help me make dinner?" I ask Jenna instead. "Those new pasta you found?" Her smile breaks through, genuine this time. "Can we try the pesto one?" "Of course." I close the photo album, but not before noticing something that makes my stomach clench. The trust paperwork from Grandpa's estate tucked into the back pocket. I'd forgotten about it until now, the careful legal language excluding adopted children from inheritance. Marcus catches my eye. He's seen it too. His jaw tightens, but his voice stays gentle. I'll pick up fresh basil from the store. Jenna pulls ingredients from the cupboard, humming under her breath. She doesn't see the look that passes between her father and me. Doesn't know about one more document in a long line of quiet rejections. But that's about to change. The RSVP card marks more than just a declined wedding invitation. It's my line in the sand, 13 years too late, but finally drawn. The afternoon sun slants through our kitchen window, catching the gold lettering one last time. Such a beautiful invitation, crafted to wound with perfect etiquette. I slide it into our junk mail pile. My phone buzzes yet again. I power it off completely. Mom? Jenna measures pasta into the pot. You okay? I look at my daughter, really look at her. The determined set of her jaw, so like my own. The quiet strength she's built from years of pretending not to notice. The talent and heart that my family has chosen not to see. I'm better than okay, I tell her. And for the first time in years, it's not a lie. Later that same night, the cardboard box weighs more than grief in my arms as I carry it down from the attic. Each Christmas card, each photo, each handwritten note inside catalogs 13 years of subtle wounds. I spread them across our dining room table while Marcus works late, while Jenna sleeps upstairs dreaming of art school acceptance letters. My fingers tremble on the first envelope, postmarked December 2012. To Laura and Marcus, written in mother's perfect cursive. No mention of their granddaughter, though Jenna had lived with me for months by then. I arrange it on the left side of the table. Another card from the following spring. Happy Easter to Laura and Marcus. Jenna had just won the school art contest. I'd called to tell them. They never called back. The pile grows. Year after year of carefully addressed exclusions. A birthday card for me, nothing for Jenna. A graduation announcement for Brianna's son Tommy that arrived 3 weeks after the ceremony. The invitation to the family lake house weekend that somehow got lost in the mail until the day after. My hands shake harder as I unearth the video from last Thanksgiving. I slip it into my laptop, stomach clenching as the scene unfolds. Grandma Barbara cooing over Tommy and his cousins, showering them with attention and pumpkin pie. The camera pans past Jenna, 16 years old, eating alone at the kids' table. No one speaks to her. No one even looks her way. The laptop screen blurs. I blink hard, reaching for the next item. A school essay from Jenna's freshman year. What family means to me. 2 pages about Marcus and me, her art teacher Mrs. Chen, our elderly neighbor Mr. Peterson, who always asks about her latest paintings. Not one word about grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. My phone buzzes. A text from Rachel. I've been thinking about Easter. The way Aunt Barbara kept calling Jenna the girl when she thought no one could hear. It wasn't right. I should have said something. I type back, thank you, as another text arrives. Camille this time. Mom says you're being dramatic about the wedding. It's nothing personal against Jenna. We just want a sophisticated event. The words burn like acid. I set the phone face down, turning instead to Jenna's childhood journal I found in the box. The sparkly purple cover has faded, but her careful handwriting remains clear inside. The 15th of October, 2014. Grandma gave everyone matching sweaters for Christmas pictures. She said they didn't have my size. The 3rd of March, 2015, Aunt Brianna's birthday party. Had to sit in the garage because there weren't enough chairs. The 25th of December, 2015. They forgot I don't like peanuts again. Or maybe they didn't forget. A door creaks upstairs. I freeze, listening for Jenna's footsteps, but the house settles back into silence. My eyes drift to the latest evidence. Brianna's Facebook photos from last month's family dinner. 18 smiling faces around a table laden with food. We weren't invited. Those posts are public, you know. Marcus's voice startles me. He stands in the doorway, briefcase still in hand, jaw tight as he surveys the table. Everyone can see who wasn't included. I kept making excuses, I whisper. I told myself they needed time to adjust, that it would get better. He sets his briefcase down, moving to examine a stack of Christmas cards. 13 years is a long time to wait for better. My phone buzzes again. Mother's name lights up the screen. Your father says you're not welcome for Christmas if you skip the wedding. Don't throw away family over pride. Pride. As if protecting my daughter were nothing more than vanity. A new email notification pops up. From Brianna, sent to the entire extended family. Laura's latest drama. She's always been attention-seeking, but this is a new low. Camille's wedding isn't about her or her. I can't read the rest. My finger hovers over the delete button when another email arrives. From Aunt Dorothy, the family outcast who married beneath her station and adopted a son in the 1980s. I saw what they did to you at Easter, what they've been doing all along. It drove me away 30 years ago. The pattern doesn't change unless someone breaks it. The words hit like a physical blow. I scroll through years of family photos on my phone, seeing the pattern with fresh eyes. Jenna always slightly apart, always on the edges, always almost cropped out. Marcus picks up a manila envelope I haven't opened yet. The return address shows my father's law firm. What's this? I don't. The words die as he pulls out the contents. Legal documents, the family trust paperwork I'd signed without reading carefully 5 years ago. His finger traces a single devastating line. Benefits to be distributed among blood descendants only. Adopted children are specifically excluded from inheritance. The paper slips from my numb fingers. All these years I thought they just needed time. Just needed to know her. Just needed to see her heart, her talent, her gentle soul. But they'd written her out before they ever gave her a chance. Marcus gathers me close as the tears finally come. What do we do now? Through the window, dawn paints the sky in watercolor shades of pink and gold. The same colors Jenna uses in her sunrise paintings. I think of her portfolio, filled with beauty despite every rejection. Think of her quiet strength, her unfailing kindness to the family that never wanted her. I reach for my phone one last time. Open the family group chat. Click Leave Group. Now, I say, voice steady. We show them what real family looks like. Upstairs, Jenna's sleeping softly. She doesn't know about the trust fund, the emails, the wedding drama. Doesn't know I've spent the night excavating years of carefully hidden wounds. But she knows she's loved, and maybe that's the only inheritance that matters. A week after the wedding, Camille's wedding photos scatter across my Facebook feed like confetti. Her perfect smile, the cathedral veil, the family gathered close minus us. The absence speaks volumes. I close the laptop and push it away. My phone buzzes. 3 new messages from Mom about Christmas plans. I let them sit unread next to the 15 others from the past week. The grandfather clock in our hallway, a wedding gift from my parents, ticks away the December afternoon. Laura? 15 minutes after the message, Mom's voice rings through the front door, followed by the unmistakable rattle of her key in the lock. I forgot she still has one from last year's renovations. I brought the decorations. She bustles in, arms laden with storage bins marked Christmas in her precise handwriting. The same bins we've used for hosting family Christmas dinner the past 12 years. Her face glows with determination as she sets them down. I thought we could get an early start this year, she says, pulling out familiar strands of garland. The earlier we decorate, the longer we can enjoy it. Remember how magical it looked last Christmas? I steady my hands against the kitchen counter. We won't be needing those, Mom. What do you mean? She pauses, a glittery ornament dangling from her fingers. Of course we need them. You're hosting Christmas dinner, just like always. No. The word comes out softer than I intended. I clear my throat and try again. We've made other plans this year. The ornament slips from her grasp, bouncing once on the hardwood floor. But you always host Christmas. Not anymore. Mom's lips press into a thin line. This is about the wedding, isn't it? You're punishing all of us because Camille wanted an adults-only reception. No. I walk to my office and return with a manila folder I've been compiling. Set it on the counter between us. This is about 13 years of treating my daughter as less than family. Her eyes fix on the folder. What's that supposed to be? Evidence. My voice stays steady. Tell me, Mom, when was the last time you called Jenna your granddaughter? The front door opens again. Marcus's familiar footsteps cross the entryway, followed by the thud of his briefcase hitting the floor. He appears in the kitchen doorway, reading the tension immediately. Without a word, he moves to stand beside me. The doorbell chimes. Mrs. Henderson from next door peers through the glass, holding a plate of Christmas cookies. I wave her in, full for the interruption. Laura, dear, I wanted to drop these off and ask how Jenna's art show went. The whole neighborhood's talking about her talent. Mom shifts uncomfortably, saying nothing. Mrs. Henderson's warm smile never wavers as she sets down the cookies and asks about specific paintings, remembering details about Jenna's work that my own mother has never bothered to learn. My phone rings Rachel, offering to host us for Christmas dinner. The contrast between chosen family and blood relatives tightens my chest. Your father will be devastated, Mom tries again, desperation creeping into her voice. He looks forward to Christmas here all year. I doubt he'll notice Jenna isn't there. The words taste bitter. He never has before. That's not fair, Laura. We've tried. Have you? The dam breaks. Last Easter, you called her the girl when you thought she couldn't hear. At Thanksgiving, she sat alone at the kids' table while her 16-year-old cousins ate with the adults. Every Christmas card addressed to Laura and Marcus like she doesn't exist. The trust paperwork explicitly excluding adopted children. She's not blood, Laura. Mom's voice rises. One day she'll leave you and then what? We're just trying to protect you. The kitchen falls silent. Even the grandfather clock seems to hold its breath. Please leave. I walk to the front door, hold it open. Don't come back until you can respect my daughter. Mom's hands shake as she gathers her coat. You're making a terrible mistake. The door closes behind her with a soft click. I lean against it, tears finally breaking free. Marcus's arms wrap around me as I sob. Mom? Jenna stands in the hallway, backpack still slung over one shoulder. Her eyes are bright with unshed tears. How long have you been there? I ask. Long enough. She drops her backpack, moves closer. I never wanted to come between you and your family. I pull her into our embrace. You are my family, the only one that matters. That evening, I write the email I've been drafting in my head for weeks. No accusations, just facts, dates, events. A clear pattern of exclusion spanning 13 years. Marcus reads it over my shoulder, suggesting only minor edits to keep the tone neutral. Next, I design our Christmas card. Just the three of us, smiling in front of our fireplace. The Matthews family, printed in simple gold text. My phone lights up with a text from Brianna. Mom told us what happened. You've gone too far this time. Moments later, an email notification. Brianna has sent a message to the entire extended family. My cursor hovers over it before I click. The words fill my screen, each sentence designed to turn the family against us. The final line burns. You'll regret choosing that girl over your real family. I close the laptop, look at the Christmas bins still sitting untouched by the door. Tomorrow, we'll unpack our own decorations, the ones Jenna and I have collected over the years. We'll make new traditions with people who love her. The grandfather clock strikes 9. I unplug it, silencing its judgmental ticking. Time to let go of old obligations and embrace the family we've chosen. The next morning, my fingers hover over the keyboard, cursor blinking in the empty email draft. Through my office window, morning sunlight catches the frost on bare branches. The house is quiet. Jenna at school, Marcus at work. Just me and the weight of 13 years pressing against my chest. Subject line, to anyone who wants the full story. I open the folder beside my laptop, photographs and documents arranged in careful chronological order. The first photo shows 4-year-old Jenna at the courthouse, her small hand gripping mine. My parents stand stiffly against the back wall, their smiles not reaching their eyes. I type the date, then list the facts without embellishment. First family photo after adoption. Notice positioning of participants. Photo after photo, document after document. Each one a piece of evidence I can't unsee now that I've finally allowed myself to look. Christmas cards addressed only to Marcus and me. The trust paperwork with its careful legal language excluding adopted children. Family photos where Jenna stands at the edges, half cropped out of frame. My phone buzzes. Brianna. I silence it without looking and keep typing. Marcus finds me there hours later, still crafting each sentence with surgical precision. He reads over my shoulder, his hand warm on my back. Maybe add the Easter incident, he suggests quietly. When your mother told Jenna the egg hunt was just for real grandchildren. I add it to the list, my hands steady now. No accusations, just facts. Dates. Quotes. Photos. The truth written in black and white. The next morning, Brianna appears at my office door, her heels clicking against the tile floor. We need to talk sense into you, she announces, not bothering with hello. Do you know Mom hasn't slept since Christmas? I continue typing my report, letting her words wash over me. The gentle tapping of keys fills the silence between us. Laura, look at me when I'm talking to you. I finish my sentence, then meet her eyes. Did you know Jenna spent last Christmas alone in her room while everyone opened presents? She said she didn't feel well, but I found her sketchbook later. She'd drawn the whole family celebrating without her. Brianna's face flushes. That's not. You're twisting things. I have the drawing if you'd like to see it. She leaves without answering, her heels striking the floor like ammunition. That evening, my father calls. Your mother is beside herself about Christmas, he says, his voice heavy with disapproval. 30 years of tradition, Laura. 30 years. How many times did you call Jenna your granddaughter in those 30 years, Dad? The silence stretches between us until he hangs up. I send the email just before midnight. 6 pages of carefully documented evidence spanning 13 years of subtle exclusion. No accusations, no emotional appeals, just the quiet power of truth. The responses begin immediately. Aunt Dorothy calls, her voice thick with tears. They're furious with me for taking your side, she says. But someone had to say it. What they've done to that child. Camille's text arrives next. You're tearing the family apart over nothing. I write back one sentence. Nothing is exactly how you've treated my daughter for 13 years. The family splinters like ice in spring in the following days. Cousin Rachel stands up at Christmas dinner. I hear about it later from Aunt Dorothy. What you've done to Jenna is shameful. She tells them all. Every single one of you who looked the other way. Uncle Robert sends a private message. We adopted James in 1982. I watched the same thing happen. I should have spoken up sooner. More messages trickle in. Brianna's husband calls to apologize for her behavior. My father runs into Marcus at the hardware store, both men studying paint samples with fierce concentration to avoid speaking. Christmas dinner was strained, according to the family gossip network. Empty chairs where we should have been. Questions about our absence that couldn't be smoothed over with the usual excuses. My mother tells the neighbors we're going through a phase. But I see their sideways glances when she walks past. They've all seen Jenna grow up on our street, watched her shovel their driveways and sell Girl Scout cookies. The math isn't hard to do. A week after New Year's, the first attempt at reconciliation arrives. Camille's text, I didn't mean to hurt Jenna's feelings. My father's voicemail, this has gone on long enough. My mother sends a generic gift card for Jenna, the first acknowledgement of her existence as a grandchild. The envelope sits unopened on our counter. Brianna suggests a family meeting to clear the air. Her tone implies we're being difficult by refusing. I send the same response to each overture. Acknowledgement is not the same as respect. Our Christmas with our chosen family fills the house with genuine warmth. Jenna's art hangs proudly in the local gallery's youth showcase. Marcus gets a promotion at work, and we celebrate without the weight of family obligations pressing down on our joy. I feel lighter than I have in years. The freedom of finally speaking truth sits in my chest like sunlight. Then the invitation arrives. Heavy cream cardstock, formal calligraphy, a family intervention masquerading as reconciliation. I recognize it for what it is. Their final attempt to force us back into old patterns, to restore the comfort of our silence. I want to go with you, Jenna says, watching me read it. I want them to see who I really am. I study my daughter's face, the quiet strength there, the artist's eye that has documented every subtle rejection in lines and colors. She's never been the victim they wanted her to be. Never been the outsider they tried to make her. Okay, I tell her. We'll go together. She smiles, and I see the future reshaping itself around her certainty, around our truth finally spoken aloud. The invitation sits on my desk, its formal script catching the morning light. But this time, the golden letters hold no power to wound. We've already chosen each other. Everything else is just details. I pick up my phone and text our response. We'll be there, all of us, together. The next week at the family gathering, the parlor walls press in around me as I sit rigid on Mother's antique sofa, the one she inherited from Grandma Rose. Across from me, my family assembles like a jury, Mother perched in her wingback chair, Father standing with one hand on its curved back, Camille and Brianna flanking them on the love seat. Laura. Mother's voice breaks on my name. Her hands flutter toward Jenna, then drop without completing the gesture. We need to talk about what you're doing to this family. Beside me, Jenna's portfolio rests against her leg, its leather surface cool under my palm. She sits tall, shoulders straight, chin lifted. At 17, she looks more composed than I ever managed at twice her age. What I'm doing? The words taste bitter. That's an interesting way to phrase it. Father's fingers tighten on the chair back. You've always had a flair for drama, Laura, but this tantrum has gone far enough. Camille leans forward, designer bracelet catching the afternoon light. The wedding was nothing personal against Jenna. You know how these events are. There are rules, expectations. Right. Brianna's voice drips acid. But you've always had this victim mentality. Everything has to be about you. Mother dabs at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. All our holiday traditions destroyed. Your father can't sleep. I barely eat. Is that what you wanted? I let the accusations wash over me, noting each one like entries in a ledger. The same patterns, the same manipulation, but for the first time I see them with perfect clarity. My hands remain steady in my lap. Are you finished? My voice comes out soft, but carries to every corner of the room. Because Jenna has something to say. The shock ripples through them like a stone dropped in still water. Mother's handkerchief freezes mid-dab. Father's mouth opens, then closes. They never expected Jenna to speak. In their minds, she's always been a prop in their family drama, never its narrator. Jenna rises, unzipping her portfolio with steady fingers. The sound cuts through the silence like a knife. I'd like to show you something. Her voice holds none of the tremor I'd feared. My senior art portfolio. The theme is family perspectives. She pulls out the first piece, a watercolor of last Christmas dinner. The family clusters around the dining room table, faces warm in candlelight. But at the edge of the frame, a small figure sits alone at a card table, fork suspended over a plate. The isolation radiates from every brush stroke. Mother's breath catches. Camille shifts on the love seat, the leather creaking beneath her. The next painting shows Easter brunch. Cousins hunt eggs on the lawn while adults chat on the patio. A teenage girl stands by the fence, camera in hand, documenting a celebration she's not part of. The composition draws every eye to that solitary figure. This one's called Outside Looking In, Jenna says quietly. Piece by piece, she builds her case. Each painting captures a moment of exclusion through a child's eyes. The skill is undeniable, the emotion raw and true. The family portrait takes center stage, frames within frames showing empty spaces where relatives should be. Father won't meet my eyes now. Mother's tears have stopped, replaced by something that looks like real pain. This is what you've done, I say into the silence, not with words, but with actions. Every Christmas card addressed only to Marcus and me, every family photo where Jenna stands apart. Every gathering where she ate alone. Camille stares at the artwork, her perfect makeup cracking around the edges. I never realized she could. Paint? Jenna's smile holds no warmth. See? Feel? There's a lot you never realized about me. Brianna surges to her feet. This is manipulation, using art to make us feel guilty about perfectly normal family boundaries. Normal? The word explodes from my chest. When was the last time you called her your niece? When did any of you send her a birthday card? Which of you knows her favorite color, her dreams, her fears? She's not blood, Mother whispers, but the words lack conviction. Neither is Marcus. I stand, resting my hand on Jenna's shoulder. But you never questioned his place in this family. A rustle from the corner makes us all turn. Aunt Dorothy pushes up from her armchair, her silver hair gleaming in the late afternoon sun. I made this choice 30 years ago with Thomas. Chose my adopted son over my father's family traditions. Best decision I ever made. She crosses to stand beside us, her spine straight despite her 70 years. The question isn't whether Laura will come back to the fold. The question is whether you deserve to have her and this remarkably talented young woman in your lives at all. Mother's face crumbles. Father's hand falls from the chair back. Even Brianna's anger seems to deflate. Jenna's been offered a full scholarship to Rhode Island School of Design. My voice fills the heavy silence. She'll be starting this fall. That's what real family does. Supports dreams, celebrates achievements. We're not asking to be centered, just included. I gather my purse, noting how the parlor walls don't feel so confining anymore. The choice is yours now. Respect is earned. Jenna and I are a package deal. We walk out together, heads high, leaving the portfolio displayed on the coffee table. Behind us, the family sits in disarray, years of careful pretense shattered by a teenager's truth told in watercolor and oil. Are you okay? I whisper as we reach the car. Jenna pauses, her hand on the door handle. When she turns, her smile breaks through like sunrise after a storm. You know what, Mom? For the first time in that house, I really am. So, for the next 4 months, she finally healed, focused on her graduation, and was preparing for college. Now at the ceremony, the sunlight streams through the auditorium windows, catching the gold tassel on Jenna's graduation cap. The principal's voice echoes through the space, but I barely register the words. My eyes stay fixed on my daughter, poised at the edge of her seat in the front row. Marcus squeezes my hand as Jenna's name rings out. And now, your class valedictorian, Jenna Matthews. She rises in one fluid motion, the confidence in her stride making my heart swell. The emerald green graduation gown flows behind her as she takes the podium. No hesitation, no glancing around to see who's watching, just pure presence. I scan the scattered family members in the audience. Barbara sits 3 rows back, dabbing at her eyes with a tissue. Aunt Dorothy beams from her wheelchair in the handicapped section, while Rachel bounces her youngest on her knee. The empty seats where William and Brianna should be speak volumes. Jenna adjusts the microphone, her voice clear and steady. When people ask me about family, I tell them about seeds. She pauses, letting the metaphor settle. Some seeds we're born with, planted in soil we didn't choose, but the most beautiful gardens often grow from seeds we plant ourselves. My breath catches. Marcus's arm slides around my shoulders. My mother taught me that family isn't about whose blood runs through your veins. It's about who shows up, who sees you, who chooses you again and again, even when it's hard. Barbara shifts in her seat. I remember her voice last week, hesitant on the phone. Laura, I'd like to contribute to Jenna's art school expenses. If you'll let me, a peace offering, decades late but sincerely given. I say I'll think about it, and she nods only. It's time to celebrate. After the ceremony, we gathered at Bellini's restaurant, the same place we celebrated when Jenna won her first art competition at 12. The familiar scent of garlic and basil wraps around us like a warm blanket. Dorothy holds court at the head of the table, her silver hair catching the light from overhead chandeliers. To seeing people for who they truly are. She raises her glass, eyes twinkling, and the courage to stand by them. Camille arrives halfway through the appetizers, clutching a wrapped package. Her designer dress looks out of place among our casual celebration. I found this at an art supply store, she says, setting it beside Jenna's plate. The clerk said it's what serious artists use. Jenna opens it slowly, a set of professional oils in rich, vibrant colors. Thank you, Aunt Camille. Simple words, but genuine. Barbara watches the exchange, then pulls out an envelope. I have something too. Her hands tremble slightly as she slides it across the table. For your dorm room at Waverly. Inside lies a check that makes Jenna's eyes widen. But it's the card that brings tears, the first one Barbara has ever signed, Love, Grandma. Our neighbor Mrs. Chen arrives with her signature almond cookies, the ones she's been bringing to every Matthews family celebration since Jenna was 5. Rachel's kids cluster around Jenna, showing off the friendship bracelets she taught them to make last summer. The restaurant fills with stories. Mrs. Chen describing how Jenna helped repaint her fence, Rachel's oldest reminding everyone about the time Jenna let him be her assistant at the community art fair. Real memories, not polite fictions. Later, after we got home, in Jenna's bedroom, cardboard boxes waited to be filled for college. Art supplies, clothes, photos of chosen family scattered across her desk. I fold another shirt, trying not to think about how quiet the house will be in September. Mom? Jenna's voice pulls me from my thoughts. She holds up a framed photo, the three of us at the beach last summer, salt wind in our hair, genuine smiles caught mid-laugh. Remember what you told me when I was little? She asks. About how some people walk into our lives by accident but stay on purpose? I nod, throat tight. You didn't just adopt me, she says softly. You showed me what a real family looks like, how to build it, how to keep it. She tucks the photo carefully between sweaters in her suitcase. I'm taking that lesson to college with me. Barbara's check sits on Jenna's desk, next to acceptance letters and scholarship offers. A bridge, maybe, to whatever comes next. William's silence remains a wound, but no longer a defining one. The next morning, Jenna hugs me tight in the driveway, car packed for freshman orientation. I'm not going anywhere, she whispers. Not really. I watch her pull away, Marcus's arms steady around my waist. The garden we've grown spreads out before us, not perfect, not traditional, but blooming all the same. Built from seeds we chose to plant, nurtured by hands that wanted to tend them. Some might call it letting go, but standing here, watching my daughter drive toward her future, I know better. This isn't an ending at all. It's what happens when love takes root, when family becomes a choice instead of an obligation. When you finally understand that the most precious bonds aren't the ones you're born with, they're the ones you build day by day, choice by choice, until they're strong enough to weather any storm. We didn't lose a family. We grew a better one. Morning sunlight streams through my kitchen windows, casting long rectangles across the hardwood floor, where half-unpacked moving boxes still wait. I grip a coffee mug in one hand and sort through my mail with the other, trying to maintain some semblance of normal routine in my new home. The certified letter sits apart from the stack of junk mail and bills, its official markings making my stomach clench. When I tear open the envelope, the world stops turning. Edward and Marlene Lorne versus Arden Lorne. My coffee mug slips from numb fingers, shattering against the floor. Dark liquid seeps into the grout between tiles as my hands begin to tremble, the legal papers wavering before my eyes. The demand jumps out in stark black text. Immediate transfer of property and $300,000 in damages. My own parents are suing me. 2 weeks earlier, I had stood in the same kitchen signing closing papers on my $412,000 home, the first major purchase of my life. The real estate agent had beamed as she handed me the keys. You did this completely on your own, she'd said. That's something to be proud of. That night I'd celebrated alone with takeout Chinese and a bottle of champagne I'd been saving since my promotion last year. I wandered through empty rooms, mentally placing furniture I'd carefully budgeted for, mapping out each space that was finally, irrevocably mine. Look at this, Grandpa, I'd said later during our video call, panning my phone around the living room. I did it. His eyes had welled up with pride. You sure did, sweetheart. You sure did. The first sign that something was wrong came immediately after I announced the purchase. My parents' faces on FaceTime were tight, uncomfortable. My sister Sabrina hovered in their living room behind them, designer purse dangling from her arm. How many bedrooms? Mom had asked, her smile brittle. 3, I'd answered, and a nice yard. That's quite a purchase for someone your age, Dad said, his jaw working. Sabrina leaned into frame, her perfectly styled hair falling forward. Must be nice to have that kind of money to throw around. Mom's eyes darted to her. You know your sister's been having a rough time, Arden. I should have recognized the warning signs then, but nothing could have prepared me for their ambush a week later. We need to discuss a family matter, Dad said, his face filling my phone screen, his business tone, the one he used for difficult conversations with employees. Mom dabbed at her eyes with a tissue. We've always put family first, haven't we? Always supported each other? Your sister needs stability more than you do, Dad continued. She has plans for that house. Creative plans. You can keep renting. I stared at them, uncomprehending. This is my house. I worked for it. Sabrina can earn her own. Don't be selfish, Mom snapped. Family helps family. The certified letter arrived the next day. As I read through the documents now, my throat closes up. Aunt Ramona's name appears as financial backer of the lawsuit. An email from Sabrina is attached as evidence claiming I stole her opportunity. The demands are spelled out in clinical legal language. Transfer of property deed to Sabrina Lorne. Continued mortgage payments for 18 months. Minus $300,000 for child rearing costs. Written apology for damaging family trust. My hands shake as I dial my grandfather's number. He answers on the first ring. They've gone too far this time, he says after I explain, his voice hard with anger. I spend the next hour researching attorneys, my heart sinking at retainer fees starting at $10,000. Money I don't have after the down payment and closing costs. The reality settles over me like a heavy blanket. I'll have to defend myself. That night, I sit alone in my new home, surrounded by boxes I haven't had the energy to unpack. Tears threaten but don't fall. In their place, something stronger takes root. Determination. They want my house? The one I spent 15 years saving for while they bankrolled Sabrina's failed ventures? The home I earned through countless overtime shifts and careful budgeting? Let them try. I stand up and walk to my bedroom window, looking out at the quiet street below. This is my home, my achievement, my line in the sand. They made their choice to attack what I've built. Now I'll make mine to defend it. Have you ever had family members try to claim what you've worked hard for? Share your experience in the comments. I spread financial documents across my dining room table, the morning sun casting shadows between stacks of bank statements and tax returns. My laptop screen glows with an open spreadsheet. 15 years of financial life reduced to columns and formulas. The numbers tell a story my family doesn't want told. Memory flashback at age 16. $5.25. Hour at Morningstar Coffee. Tips split between 3 baristas. I can still smell the burnt espresso, feel the ache in my feet after 8-hour shifts. You're missing Sabrina's Sweet 16, Mom had texted that night. The DJ cost a fortune. I'd watched the party unfold on social media between customers, my sister in a custom pink dress, surrounded by floating lanterns and a chocolate fountain. Cost, roughly 3 months of my wages. My fingers trace down a column of community college receipts. Night classes after work, textbooks bought used, careful budgeting of every meal. Dad's voice echoes from that period. An accounting certificate? It's not even a real degree. The memory of my 18th birthday surfaces not the celebration but the argument that followed. What do you mean you won't fill out the FAFSA? I'd asked, clutching university application papers. You're an adult now, Dad had said. Time to stand on your own feet. A week later, I'd found an apartment listing. $400. Month. Roaches included. The start of real independence. At the present, my phone buzzes. Mom's number. I let it go to voicemail, already knowing the script. Sweetheart. Her message quavers. We've always given you both exactly what you needed. Why are you being so difficult about this? I pull up my email, finding Dad's response to my emergency root canal 4 years ago. Figure it out. Below it, bank statements showing $2. $0 transferred to Sabrina that same week for creative supplies. My sister's Instagram feed tells its own story. Semesters abroad in Paris and Rome, funded by our parents. Art supplies that cost more than my monthly rent. Meanwhile, my student loan statements march endlessly onward, minus $47,000 in debt, every payment made alone. Don't make this harder than it needs to be, Dad's latest email warns. I delete it without responding. A new voicemail notification pops up. Aunt Ramona this time. You selfish girl, she spits. After everything this family's done for you. I research her history online, finding foreclosure records from 5 years ago, the same year she started living in Mom and Dad's guest house. The pieces click. She's not just backing their lawsuit, she's looking for her own backup plan. A quick social media search reveals Sabrina's latest crisis. Eviction notice from her creative studio apartment 3 weeks ago. The timing aligns perfectly with their lawsuit. The doorbell rings, startling me. Grandpa stands on my porch, carrying a weathered cardboard box. Thought you might need these, he says, setting it down. Inside, decades of family financial records meticulously organized. They did the same thing to your cousin Thomas, he explains, settling into a kitchen chair. When his auto shop started turning a profit, they tried claiming he owed them for family investments. My phone lights up with a text from Thomas himself 10 minutes later. Heard about the lawsuit. They tried taking my shop when it finally got out of the red. Don't let them win. A knock at the door an hour later reveals my next-door neighbor holding a potted plant. Welcome to the neighborhood, she says warmly, despite Shirley having heard about the family drama. My high school boss from Morningstar Coffee emails. Remember that Employee of the Year award? Happy to be a character reference. The support strengthens me for the next wave in the days to follow. A certified letter threatening property liens, Sabrina's tearful Facebook posts about her heartless sister, and calls from my parents' country club friends about family duty. Aunt Ramona's silver Mercedes cruises past my house for the third time today, her phone raised to take pictures. An hour later, my supervisor calls about an anonymous concern regarding my character. I spend my lunch break filing a motion to dismiss, using every scrap of legal knowledge gleaned from late-night research. The court clerk raises her eyebrows at my pro se filing next week. This is surprisingly thorough, she says, stamping the documents. The preliminary hearing is set for next month. I request unpaid leave from work, ignoring my boss's worried frown about personal distractions affecting performance. That evening, I sit on my new porch swing, watching the sun paint the sky in shades of orange and pink. The scene triggers a memory. Teenage me walking this same street, admiring these houses, promising myself I'd earn one someday. You're dreaming too big, Mom had said when I'd mentioned it. Maybe I was, but I did it anyway. A young family walks past, children laughing as they chase fireflies. I think about the locksmith coming tomorrow, the security system being installed next week. Not just protecting my house, but fortifying my boundaries. They say blood is thicker than water, but I'm learning that some family ties are actually chains. Sometimes love means standing firm, even when it hurts. Sometimes independence comes at a price worth paying. I gather my documents and head inside, leaving the porch light on, not for family, but for the new connections I'm building, one kindness at a time. Next week, the church bulletin lies crumpled on my kitchen counter, my parents' congregation's letterhead stark against today's mail. 3 more prayer requests, expressing concern for my wayward path and hardened heart toward family. I add them to the growing pile. My phone buzzes with another social media notification. Sabrina's latest Instagram story features her tearfully holding our childhood photo album. Family means supporting each other no matter what. Broken heart family first. The timestamp shows 3 a.m., prime posting hours for maximum sympathy engagement. I pull up my financial tracking spreadsheet, the one I've maintained since that first dishwashing job at May's Diner. 15 years old, scrubbing plates until midnight while my classmates planned homecoming outfits. The memory of pruned fingers and aching feet feels fresh, along with May's gentle reminder, "You're building something, girl. Keep those records clean." Each cell tells a story. $6.25, hour times 30 hours weekly, minus bus fare. Community college tuition payments scheduled around 3 part-time jobs. The studio apartment with the leaking ceiling and the secondhand futon I'd proudly purchased for $40. You really live like this? Mom had asked during her only visit, eyes sweeping over my carefully arranged thrift store furniture. The spreadsheet continues. Monthly savings transfers, starting at $200, growing to $300 as my certifications brought better opportunities. Years of careful planning, every extra penny funneled toward my dream of homeownership. A knock at the door interrupts my review. Through the security camera feed, a new installation courtesy of Grandpa, I spot Mrs. Henderson from 2 doors down. "Thought you might need lunch," she says, holding up a paper bag. "And Gary's taking the 3-6 p.m. watch shift today." The neighbors have organized an informal surveillance rotation since Aunt Ramona's Mercedes became a regular fixture on our street. Their quiet support feels like a shield in the days to follow. One Tuesday afternoon, breaking news, notification, Sabrina's interview with the local paper. Sister disputes family legacy. The article features her posed artistically in her former studio apartment, surrounded by half-finished canvases. My phone rings, Thomas. Saw the article. he says without preamble. Got those account records you asked about? The family investment they claimed I owed? Funny how the numbers matched Aunt Ramona's foreclosure exactly. The Whole Foods automatic doors slide open, and I freeze. Sabrina stands by the organic produce, designer sunglasses perched on her head. Too late to retreat, she's spotted me. Well, if it isn't the family traitor, she announces loudly enough for nearby shoppers to turn. I focus on selecting tomatoes, keeping my voice steady. Hello, Sabrina. You always thought you were better than us, she hisses, stepping closer. With your precious spreadsheets and your boring job, you know what that house could be? An amazing art cafe concept. People would love it. I meet her eyes. And how would you handle the mortgage? Property taxes? She waves dismissively. Obviously, that part would still be your responsibility, since you're so good with money. Her lip curls. Unlike some of us who actually pursued our passions. Ma'am? The store manager appears. Is everything all right? Sabrina's voice rises dramatically. My own sister, abandoning her family. I leave my cart, walking calmly toward the exit as Sabrina's performance echoes behind me. The manager catches my eye with a knowing look. We all know what's really happening here. Back home, I spread out the documents Grandpa delivered. Parents' financial records showing Sabrina's $90,000 student loans paid in full. A $25,000 business loan for her failed pottery studio. Their mortgage-free property deed. And buried in old emails, the truth. Time to teach Arden a lesson about family obligation, Aunt Ramona wrote, before she gets too independent. My hands shake as I compile court exhibits. The room spins slightly, too many memories crowding in. I'm 5 years old again, watching Mom remove my crayon drawing from the refrigerator. Sabrina needs space for her new watercolor. A gentle knock. Grandpa enters without waiting, carrying a weathered photo album. Found these in the attic, he says, settling into the chair beside me. Your grandmother kept everything. The photos tell a different story. Me at every minimum wage job, proudly holding first paychecks. A display of perfect attendance certificates. My community college graduation, Grandma beaming beside me. She saw you, Grandpa says softly. She knew what you were building. Those textbooks you thought just showed up at the campus bookstore? That was her. Tears blur my vision as I stand before the bathroom mirror, practicing my court statement. The voice that emerges sounds stronger than I feel. I am not responsible for supporting adult family members who refuse to support themselves. I straighten my blazer, purchased on sale last year, recorded meticulously in my budget. The security cameras blink steadily. Evidence binders stand ready, each document telling its own truth. Aunt Ramona's Mercedes cruises past again, but I don't flinch. Some sacrifices strengthen us even as they break our hearts. Sometimes the hardest boundaries are the ones we need most. I touch the small photo of Grandma I'll carry tomorrow, her eyes twinkling with the pride she never spoke aloud. She understood the price of independence. Now it's my turn to prove I was worth her investment. Tomorrow, I'll tell my truth. Tonight, I fortify my walls, not with brick and mortar, but with 15 years of carefully documented sacrifice and the quiet strength of those who believe in earning their own way. On the confrontation day, the courthouse steps gleam in the morning sun as I adjust my grip on the leather document case, a graduation gift from Grandma. Now carrying the weight of 15 years' receipts and records. Each step feels deliberate, grounding. The glass doors reflect my image. Navy blazer, pressed slacks, minimal jewelry, professional, prepared. A far cry from my first courthouse visit at 16, seeking work papers with trembling hands. Oh, perfect timing! Sabrina's voice rings across the marble lobby. My family forms a coordinated tableau, matching white, blood-first, t-shirts under sport coats and cardigans. Mom dabs at carefully smudged mascara while Dad's attorney arranges papers with theatrical precision. Aunt Ramona catches my eye, lips curving into a familiar smirk. Last chance to avoid embarrassing the family, dear. I keep walking, heels clicking steadily against marble. The security guard nods as I pass through the metal detector, my heart beats steady despite the weight of their stares. The courtroom feels smaller than expected. Wood panels absorb sound, creating a bubble of focused silence. I arrange my exhibits with practiced efficiency, each tab color-coded and annotated. The methodology that earned eye rolls at family dinners now serves as armor. All rise. Judge Martinez enters, her quick assessment taking in both sides. Her gaze lingers on the matching shirts before settling on the stack of motions. "Interesting filing," she comments, scanning the first page. "Please proceed." Dad's attorney rises, straightening his tie. "Your Honor, this case centers on familial obligation and traditional values. The Lorne family invested approximately $300,000 in raising their daughter, as documented by USDA statistics." Objection. I state clearly. Irrelevant. Standard childcare costs don't create legal debt. Sustained. Judge Martinez's pen taps her notepad. Counsel, proceed with actual claims. Mom takes the stand first, tissue clutched dramatically. "We sacrificed everything for our girls. Private lessons, summer camps." Her voice breaks. "How can she abandon us now that she's successful?" I stay focused on my notes as she describes my selfish career choices, my rejection of family values. Each accusation lands softer than the last, buffered by years of documented truth. Dad testifies next, his authoritative boardroom voice filling the space. "In our family, successful children support their parents. It's understood." "And when was this agreement made?" Judge Martinez interrupts. "It's traditional," he stumbles. "Implied." "Your Honor," I begin my cross-examination. "Did you provide similar support for Sabrina's education?" Objection. Irrelevant. Their attorney stands. "I'll allow it," Judge Martinez says. "Answer the question." Dad shifts uncomfortably. Sabrina needed help pursuing her artistic gifts. "Please review Exhibit C." I direct. Bank statements showing $90,000 in student loan payments for Sabrina's fine arts degree, plus $25,000 for her pottery studio. Sabrina's testimony comes next, tears flowing on cue. "The house would be perfect for my healing art cafe concept. I'd let her keep a room, of course." "And the mortgage?" Judge Martinez asks. "Property taxes?" "Well, Arden's good with money stuff." Sabrina waves dismissively. "She'd handle that part." The judge's eyebrow rises. "What's your current employment status?" "I'm between projects," Sabrina sniffs. "My art requires emotional space." I stand for my testimony, spreading out 15 years of pay stubs, rent receipts, college transcripts. I began working at 15, Your Honor. Every job documented, every penny accounted for. "Including parental support?" the judge asks. "None received. I present bank statements. I paid my own way through community college while working 3 jobs. The down payment for my house came from 15 years of careful saving." "She's twisting things," Aunt Ramona bursts out. "This ungrateful girl." "Silence," Judge Martinez warns. She studies my documentation, then addresses my parents directly. "Would you be making these demands if both daughters were struggling financially?" The silence speaks volumes. "I've heard enough." The judge closes her folder. "This case lacks any legal merit whatsoever. Properties purchased independently remain independent. Case dismissed with prejudice." Aunt Ramona's outraged screech echoes off marble as security escorts her out. Sabrina collapses in the hallway, but the court personnel step carefully around her prone form, faces neutral. "You'll regret choosing money over family," she calls after me. I pause at the courthouse doors, sunlight streaming through glass. Behind me, Mom's voice rises. "How could you do this to your family?" But the weight pressing against my chest for months finally lifts. Through the window, I spot Grandpa's truck idling at the curb, his steady presence a reminder that family, real family, builds you up instead of tearing you down. "You okay, kid?" he asks as I climb in. I watch my biological family huddled on the courthouse steps, their matching shirts a bright blur in the rearview mirror. "I think I finally am." "Your grandmother would be proud," he says softly. "She always said you had the strength to build your own path." The familiar streets look different somehow, clearer, like after a storm. Each carefully earned mile bringing me closer to home. My home, protected now by truth and law and the quiet power of standing firm. In my pocket, the small photo of Grandma seems to warm slightly. She'd understood the price of independence, the courage required to choose yourself. Some sacrifices strengthen us, even as they break our hearts. Sometimes the hardest boundaries become our strongest foundations. The security system chimes as I enter my home, my legally protected home now. 3 days since the courtroom victory, and already the quiet feels different. Not peaceful exactly, but fortified. My phone buzzes. Another notification from Sabrina's GoFundMe. My sister stole my future. Help an artist heal. The fabricated story beneath makes my stomach clench. After supporting me through art school, my sister betrayed our family's trust. Now I'm facing homelessness while she hoards wealth in an empty house. Please help me create my healing art cafe. I screenshot it for my attorney, then silence notifications. The lies sting less than the calculated manipulation. She knows exactly how to play the victim. Did you see the email? Thomas's text appears. My cousin, usually silent on family matters, has emerged as an unexpected ally. Uncle Edward and Aunt Marlene really outdid themselves. The mass email to our extended family arrived this morning, detailing my cruel betrayal of family values and selfish materialism, each carefully crafted paragraph designed to isolate me from the wider family network. I saw it, I reply. Seems familiar? They did the same to me when my business took off. Called me ungrateful, demanded family investments. I wish I'd fought back like you did. That night, the security system chirps again. Motion detected. Through the app, I watch Aunt Ramona's Mercedes creep past my house for the third time tonight. At midnight, the camera catches her approaching my front door, spray paint glinting in the porch light. You ungrateful little. The rest is lost as she realizes she's being recorded. The paint disappears into her designer bag as she hurries away, but not before leaving a bright red streak across my new door. The responding officer arrives quickly. We've got clear footage, he says, reviewing the video. Would you like to press charges? I think of family dinners, holiday gatherings, the complex web of loyalty and obligation. I need to file for a restraining order. Next week, the courthouse feels different now. Where fear once lived, determination takes root. The clerk processes my paperwork efficiently, eyebrows rising at the family names. Judge Martinez's courtroom again, she notes. She'll remember the context. The temporary order comes through immediately, backed by the officer's testimony and security footage. Each signature feels like both victory and loss, protecting my future while severing my past. They tried this with others. Mrs. Chen, our old neighbor, tells me over coffee. Her letter arrived yesterday, detailing 20 years of observed family dynamics. Your father demanded family support from his brother too before the cancer took him. Your aunt, she's always been jealous of your mother's marriage, you know. Uses money to control people. Grandfather fills in more gaps as we work on his truck together. Your grandmother set aside college money for both you girls, he says quietly. Your parents redirected it. Called it investing in Sabrina's gift. His hands stay steady on the wrench, but his voice carries old anger. That's why she left you the house money separately in her will. The permanent restraining order hearing arrives too quickly and not soon enough. The matching shirts are gone, replaced by subtle designer labels and practiced humility. Their new attorney speaks of reconciliation, portraying me as vindictive and unbalanced. Your Honor, I stand. Evidence organized with familiar precision. I'll let the facts speak. Security footage plays. Police reports detail workplace disruptions, my family claiming medical emergencies to bypass security, the GoFundMe screenshots, the email campaign. Enough, Judge Martinez interrupts. Restraining order granted and expanded to include digital harassment. Any violation will result in immediate consequences. That evening, the local paper runs the story. Family property lawsuit dismissed. Restraining order granted. Sabrina's GoFundMe disappears, reported for fraud. Messages trickle in from extended family. Support. Similar stories, quiet solidarity. Your cousin Rachel called. Grandfather tells me over dinner. Says she's proud of you. Others are starting to speak up about their experiences too. I watch him season his potatoes with methodical care. The same attention to detail he taught me in his garage, rebuilding engines while sharing life wisdom. Does it get easier? I ask. Choosing yourself? He sets down his fork. Sometimes family is what you build, not what you're born into. Your grandmother knew that. Why do you think she left you those tools in her will? Later, I complete my nightly security routine. Doors locked, cameras active, systems armed. The red paint is gone from the door, but its ghost remains, a reminder of boundaries earned and enforced. In my journal, words flow. I protected what I earned, but I'm mourning what never was. The family I wanted existed only in my hopes. The family I have now, the ones who choose truth over comfort, growth over control. They're the foundation for something real. My phone lights up with another text from Thomas. Dinner next week? Rachel and her kids want to meet at that new place downtown. I smile, typing back. Count me in. The security system chimes softly, all secure. Through the window, I watch the sunset paint my garden in gentle golds. Grandmother's roses, transplanted from her yard, bloom stubbornly against the fence. Some things grow stronger when forced to root deeper, finding nourishment in unexpected soil. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, but tonight, in this house I earned and defended, I am anchored in truth. Some victories carry the weight of grief, but they clear the ground for new growth, new connections, new definitions of family. I turn off the lights, leaving one on for the porch, a habit learned from grandmother. Not all traditions need to be broken. Some, like her wisdom and strength, become the foundation for building something better. The morning sun streams through my kitchen windows, catching dust motes as I measure coffee grounds, 2 scoops per cup, the way grandfather taught me. Ayer since the restraining order, and my weekends have found their rhythm. Maple's tags jingle as she trots to the back door. My rescue mutt, half golden retriever, half probably everything else, according to the shelter, has her own routine now. She knows Mrs. Chen next door will be out gardening, ready with treats and gentle conversation. Just a minute, girl. I checked the security app out of habit. The system's still active, but I've scaled back the notifications. No more midnight alerts, no more documenting every passing car. The cameras remain, silent sentinels rather than constant reminders. The workshop smell hits me as I enter the garage, sawdust and engine oil, mingled with fresh coffee. Grandfather's already here, setting up for our Sunday project. We're building a dining room table, big enough for the growing circle of people who actually want to be here. Morning, kiddo. He's arranging clamps with mathematical precision. Thought we'd finish the leg joints today. Perfect timing. I hand him his coffee, black, 2 sugars. Thomas and Rachel are bringing the kids over later. They can help sand. We work in comfortable silence, measuring twice, cutting once. Through the open garage door, I watch neighborhood children chase each other past my fence. Their parents used to hurry them along, back when the lawsuit made headlines. Now they wave, letting their kids stop to pet Maple through the slats. Saw your father yesterday, grandfather says suddenly, testing a joint's fit. At Henderson's Hardware. My hands stay steady on the wood. How'd that go? Age 10 years, I'd say. Both of them have. He adjusts his grip on the plane. Marlene was there too, kept looking at throw pillows like they held life's answers. I remember the designer pillows in their perfect house, arranged just so. The way Sabrina would rearrange them when stressed, while I tracked our family's spending in secret spreadsheets. Heard Sabrina's in Oregon now, I offer. Some artist collective. Running again. He shakes his head. Your aunt's not doing well either. Blood pressure's through the roof, according to the gossips at church. The wood grain beneath my fingers tells a clearer story. Growth rings marking seasons of plenty and want, strength built through adversity. We shape it carefully, honoring its natural character while creating something new. Later, as autumn sun warms the backyard, friends gather for what's become our tradition, the Sunday potluck. Thomas's kids chase Maple while Rachel sets up lawn games. My coworker Sarah, who stood by me through the worst of the lawsuit, arranges flowers from her garden. Hard to believe it's been a year, she says, stepping back to admire her work. A year since I bought this house. The memories surface. Empty rooms echoing with possibility, then threat. Now every space holds purpose. My home office with its promotion-worthy projects, the workshop where grandfather teaches me patience, the garden where Mrs. Chen shares her wisdom about more than just plants. Grandfather rises, tapping his glass for attention. To this home, he says simply, and the woman who built it, not just with lumber and nails, but with courage and truth. The toast ripples through my chosen family, neighbors, friends, the cousins who chose connection over convenience. Even Maple barks her approval, tail wagging as children sneak her bits of hot dog. That evening, after the dishes are done and leftovers distributed, I join grandfather on the porch swing. Maple sprawls at our feet, worn out from playing referee to the kids' soccer game. You didn't just protect your house, he says quietly. You defended your worth. Through the windows, I can see the dining room table we're building, still unfinished but already promising. Like everything worthwhile, it takes time and attention to detail. Some prices are worth paying for peace, I reply. The stars emerge as night settles, casting gentle light on my transformed home. Inside, Sarah and Rachel are setting up board games, their laughter drifting through screen doors. Thomas helps his youngest with homework at my kitchen counter. Mrs. Chen's lights glow next door, her silhouette visible as she waters her evening primrose. My phone buzzes, a text from the young analyst I'm mentoring at work. She's leaving her financially abusive marriage, needs advice on building credit. You showed me it's possible, she writes. I think of that terrified woman who first walked into Judge Martinez's courtroom, clutching papers and desperate certainty. She's still here, that core of steel strengthened by fire. But now she's surrounded by people who recognize its worth, who add their own strength to the alloy. The security system chimes softly, all secure. But the sound no longer triggers anxiety. Instead, it reminds me of boundaries earned and kept, of peace protected and shared. Maple's head lifts at approaching footsteps, just the neighbor's teenager, coming to ask if she can walk her tomorrow. Same time as usual? She calls. We're working on her leash manners. Perfect, I answer. Another small thread in the tapestry of normal life, woven from trust and consistency. Grandfather squeezes my shoulder as he heads in to claim his favorite armchair, the one we refinished together, now permanently placed in my living room. His tools live in my garage now, his wisdom in my daily choices. Inside, the game night is getting competitive. Outside, crickets tune up for their evening symphony. And here on my porch, in this space between what was and what is, I breathe in the peace I've built. Some say family is who you're born to, but I've learned it's who you choose to become, and who chooses to witness that becoming with love and respect. Every laugh from my living room, every wave from a neighbor, every shared meal and project and quiet moment, these are the true measures of home. The stars wheel overhead, constant as truth, bright as possibility. Tomorrow will bring its own challenges, but tonight, in this house I earned and shared and filled with genuine connection, I am exactly where I need to be. What defines family after all? Is it blood and obligation, or is it the people who celebrate your growth while respecting your boundaries? In my experience, it's the latter that builds the strongest foundations.